Hey guys, what's going on? It's Lefty from 643 Productions back again with another gameplay commentary. And I feel confident in saying that this is going to be a more somber, heartfelt video from me. This is something that I have intimate experience with, both as a friend of the, well, I hope he thinks the same way. I certainly think of him as a friend of the subject in question, and also as somebody that has rather intimate knowledge with the subject matter that we're talking about in terms of depression and contemplation of suicide. And I have experience with that on more than one occasion. And for those of you that don't know, for those of you that, well, depending on how you feel about YouTube/Twitter drama, luckily or unluckily, did not follow the drama that transpired yesterday on Twitter between my friend Wings of Redemption and a bunch of other people, El Presador, White Boy 7th Street, his D-Ranker, and a few others. For those of you that weren't following that, I'll give you a quick recap. Wings of Redemption, originally, from near as I can tell, again, I wasn't around when it originally happened. I wasn't following it from the start live. What I know, or what I think I know, is what information I have garnered from people's own personal recollections of what happened, and also just going back through timelines and trying to find out who said what to whom and why, and what started and what ended, et cetera, et cetera. So that's my perspective. And from what I can tell, Wings started out the night, as he sometimes does, with a bunch of meta tweets to nobody in particular about decrying his woes on YouTube and how little views, how few views he was getting, and how thusly how little money he was going to make, and how it's a problem for him and his current financial situation, whatever that may be. Again, you have to go to him for the specifics on it. And I have come to know, and again, as a friend of Wings of Redemption, as somebody that talks to him a good bit, and I don't want to say I understand him completely, but I think I understand a little bit about how he operates, his modus operandi, if you will. And usually I know that when he starts in with those kinds of things, while he is generally upset about his financial situation, whatever it may be, he's not making enough money, he's not making enough views, he owes too much money to the IRS, to the this, that, or the other, whatever. When he usually says that, I'm not saying he's not upset by those things, but there's usually something else bothering him. It's like a safety valve for Wings. And I understand very much why he does that, why he has that little safety valve, that the angst and the depression about whatever the subject is getting to be too much, and he needs an outlet for that, and that is his outlet of choice. And a lot of people harp on him for being just a money whore, and oh my god, you use this for business. But I see it for what it is. I understand Wings is in at times financial straits of his own making. Sure, I mean, I'm not trying to say he's the 100% innocent victim here in all this, but the fact remains that there are financial situations that are less than envious that he is involved in, and that has a chance to get a man down. And when it piles on and piles on and piles on top of that, you begin, as somebody that may be depressed in the first place, you start looking around and saying, oh my God, this is too much. I have to do something. I don't know what it is, but I have to do something to outlet all of this angst that I feel, and all of this pressure that's being put onto me from all these directions. And it escalated. El Presador got involved again. I don't know if El Presador instigated Wings, if Wings instigated El Presador. I have no idea. But it got to the point where Wings made a few tweets implicating his thoughts, his possible thoughts, the possibility of suicide on his part. He said something about committing suicide via cop, and also he tweeted to El Presador about if I have to go down, or if I'm going down, I'm taking you with me, and that launched Presador into a whole nother diatribe about how he's going to go to the FBI because it's illegal, he's going to get Wings arrested, et cetera, which, okay, brief aside, you know what really doesn't work in getting people arrested? Taunting them about getting them arrested, even if they've done something wrong. Even if they've done something that can get them arrested, usually police officers and prosecutors don't look too kindly on the victims taunting the perpetrators about getting them arrested. Usually it doesn't work out too well. But just a thought. But anyway, it's eventually spilled over into, like I mentioned earlier, there were a bunch of people got involved on the Bad Kid show of DJ Keemstar and Only Use Me Blade. They hosted, they played moderators. They actually did a very nice job, in my estimation, of just trying to filtering through everybody's points and positing thoughts from other people, and it was done fairly well. And really surprising from Keemstar and Blade. It wasn't just a troll fest. It was very. It was honestly done. I mean, I got the vibe that it was very real and very honest. And White Boy 7th Street got involved, as well as a few others. Again, I said D. Ranker and Presidor called in on his phone. It was actually kind of funny. But the eventual attack on Wings of Redemption was that he faked the whole thing. Was that he faked from the very beginning his tweets implicating and the inferences people drew from those tweets about suicide were faked. And the reason people thought a lot of that was because there was a meta tweet from Wings of Redemption. I was home by this time, and I saw what he was tweeting. He said, for those of you reading the last 45 minutes of my tweets, he said, "Psych, you've been played, son," or something to that effect. And so a lot of people thought, oh my God, he faked it from the beginning just to market himself and to get his views back up. And what a lot of people don't understand is that in that sense, Wings wouldn't be faking anything. He would be calculating in faking all that. That's the implication of what those people mean, is that he was calculating in faking all of that. He knew he had a goal in mind, and he thought he had an idea of how to achieve that goal, and it was to fake all this drama and this potential suicide stuff, and thus get more views. And that was the main attack on Wings of Redemption. But here's the thing. Here's what I have to say. As a friend of Wings of Redemption, the man, Jordy Jordan, and as somebody that has lived through the depression and the angst that we our large complicated brains sometimes devolve into, is that wasn't calculated. Like Woody's Gamertag has said, Woody's Gamertag was a very, very nice moderator, and I kind of wish he maybe would have done a little bit more to make this point more evident. Wings of Redemption, I can tell you that the implications of Wings' tweets about suicide were not calculated. They were not. They were the result. They may have been fake. They may have been, as many people have pegged them, a cry for help, which I'll get to in a bit. They may have been. They probably were all those things. Probably were fake and just intended to get somebody to try to talk to him, which is what a lot of suicide threats are. But it was not calculated. It was not from the very beginning meant to be a cold, calculated approach and saying, I'm just going to fake this suicide, that'll get me views. That is not how that works. At least as somebody that has understood depression, has lived through it, has lived through those kinds of thoughts, and somebody that knows Wings of Redemption, the man, and has talked with him about those kinds of things. It wasn't calculated. Again, may have been fake. May have been fake from the very beginning, in the sense that, okay, I need somebody to talk to me because it's just getting to be too much. But it wasn't calculated. It was not a cold, calculated move to try to garner more views for oneself. It was a probably fake but still disheartening response to outside forces that Wings at the time just didn't think he could deal with. Now, on the note of a cry for help, a lot of people dismiss those kinds of events, those suicide, those half-hearted suicide attempts, those off-the-cuff suicide remarks. They dismiss them as just fake, as just, oh, you just want attention, etc. And they label them cries for help. But the problem is that once they're labeled a cry for help, usually people don't go and help the person that they admit by labeling the thing that they did a cry for help. They usually just say, no, you just want attention, no, screw you. That's not what Wings was doing. Wings was, again, not calculating this, not faking it to get more views. It was probably fake because he needed somebody to talk to. Because he needs somebody to talk to. He needs somebody to discuss his depression with, to discuss his angst. And I mean, I have to point the finger at and again, nobody in particular, but shame on all the people, all of them, everywhere in the world, not just relegated to this instance. Shame on all the people that label these kinds of instances as cries for help, but then don't do anything to help the person. Shame on everybody in the YouTube community that I saw tweeting about this, saying it was fake and trying to decry Wings for that fact. Shame on all of them. This was a man depressed, overcome by his emotions. And again, was it the right thing to do? No, of course I'm not trying to defend it. But this was a serious release valve, and it needs to be taken seriously as not as somebody that may actually kill themselves, but as somebody that needs help, that looks around at the situation they're in and just says, I don't think I can do this without help. And so shame on everybody that looked at that and just labels these things a cry for help, but then doesn't actually help the person that's crying out for it. Shame on all of you. All of you. Myself included. I have done this myself. Not in this situation, but I have done it. And shame on me because of that. So keep that in mind when you're going forward, when you see people both ripping on Wings of Redemption and ripping on anybody for doing this. Just because it may be fake, quote, fake, and a, quote, cry for help, doesn't mean that the person that's doing the crying doesn't actually need the help. Anyway, guys, that's my time. I got to get out of here. Thank you for joining. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to drop a like on this video if you did enjoy. Remember, likes, favorites, comments, and shares via Facebook and Twitter do help me out. Thank you guys for joining. I hope you enjoyed. I am out.